ら、あなた見て。私たちの赤ちゃん。
ああ。よし。お前の名前は
アノス・ボルディゴードだ。
With all things considered, I think it's safe to say that the summer anime season came back with a vengeance. From action-packed series, romantic ventures, heart-wrenching dramas, and light-hearted comedies, this season has it all for you. I'm not even going to talk about the sequels. We all know that this season is rife with sequels of popular shows, but for an extra challenge, I won't be talking about them here. After all, my point is to show that the season is such a strong one in its own right. So strap your seatbelts on and get ready to be amazed by the various offerings that the anime industry has given us this season. So to start things off, we go with Japan Sinks 2020. It's been a while since we've been treated with a grim disaster series, in the same vein as Tokyo Magnitude 2.0, which I've talked about in an older video that I'll link on the top of the screen. Japan Sinks 2020 kicks off with an earthquake of insane proportions. We've always known that eventually a giant earthquake has the chance to wreck Japan, and this Netflix series takes a look at the possibility through the lens of the country literally finding its way into a watery grave. It is, at its core, not exactly a disaster series, because the said disasters only set the tone for the more important cultural themes that surface. Overall, I think that for something marketed as a disaster series, Japan Sinks 2020 is, all things considered, a pretty nice and gripping show. It does have its shortcomings though. While there are lots of interesting themes, a lot of them do feel underdeveloped. Nevertheless, when it comes to tone and music, this one is still pretty decent. Next, we move on to Fog Hill of 5 Elements for our number 9 entry. Non-Japanese anime have been slowly making some headway now, and one of those that's currently airing is Fog Hill of 5 Elements. Fog Hill of 5 Elements, while having just a decent, interesting premise, truly shines in its jaw-dropping animation, unique art style, and overall flair. It looks unique and stands out from what we've been used to seeing, which helps feed into the overall enjoyment in watching the show. I feel that it does need a lot more love than what it's getting right now, but its current status is understandable given the lack of a proper translation and promotion in mainstream avenues. Don't sleep on this show though. It's got some really amazing fights, which got featured in a previous video by the way, that are sure to give a lot of Japanese anime a run for their money. Up next at number 8 we have Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Can't get enough of Dagaki-san? Then we might have the next best thing for you. A nice innocent slice of life show, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out tells the trials and tribulations of Sakura Shinichi. After all, what else do you call it when all you want is a little bit of peace and quiet, but in comes the loud underclass men who seemingly make a living poking fun at you? Perhaps all of this teasing will lead to something else blossoming between the two of them. Only time will tell. Probably more known for the, in my opinion, unjustified controversy, Uzaki-chan is probably on a lot of your radars. I find it a shame that the controversy had to take precedence because on its own, the show's really relaxing and just a fun watch all throughout. It's not deep or complex, but it doesn't need to be. I don't get tired of the main character's antics at all, and they make it a really enjoyable combination to watch. Make sure to watch this if you really want to unwind. Making its triumphant return now with a full, uninterrupted run is Appare Ranman. Its premise is simple, yet adventurous. No pun intended there. On one hand, you have the socially awkward Appare with the goal to travel across the world through his numerous machines and inventions. Through some twists of fate, he finds himself stranded in America with his trusty partner, the samurai Kosame. Left with no money or plans, the two take part in a race across the continent, promising Appare the chance to showcase his inventions and Kosame the resources to get back home. Thus, the partnership between two unlikely allies is born. The show, which is basically Steel Ball Run in 2020, gives us a lot of things to like. Its colourful and bizarre world are things that showcase the creativity of anime in general. I also find the interaction between the many characters quite entertaining to watch. It's definitely a show that you could enjoy.
よく聞け、愛しき子孫どもよ。お前たちの始祖は帰ってきた。俺こそが暴虐の魔王、アノス・ボルディゴードだ。
2020 seems to be a very good year for overpowered protagonists. Mahoka's coming back in the last quarter of the year, and we have the return of Kirito in this season's Sword Art Online. Airing alongside Alicization is the show featuring the third member of the trio of overpowered light novel protagonists that somewhat look alike, Misfit at Demon King Academy. Anos Voldigod is many things with his godlike power that's beyond comprehension, and in his confidence, he allows himself to be killed and reincarnated 2,000 years in the future, only to wake up to a future where history has been rewritten and no one recognizes his status as the Demon King. Even the overall power level of the world has fallen after years of peace. However, everything's but a minor inconvenience in the face of the Demon King that's come to retake his throne after 2 millennia. The era of Magic School light novels has come full circle here, and now we have something like the One Punch Man of the genre. Misfit's just so over the top that it's entertaining even for someone who's not too fond of this genre. It's just crazy to think how far we've come. To be fair, in between all of the craziness featuring the almighty Anosama, Misfit is an enjoyable show with its fair share of drama and touching moments, so it's way more than just a parody of sorts. Rent a Girlfriend is our number 5 entry. After getting dumped by his girlfriend, Kazuya attempts to make up and fill the void in his heart by taking advantage of the Japan classic, the rental girlfriend. Getting the right one to pretend to be your girlfriend's easy, and the pretty and caring Chizuru seems to be the perfect choice for him. However, things don't go as planned, and with the two having quite a rough going on their date, it seems to be a partnership destined to doom. Things get even more muddled when Kazuya hears of his grandmother's collapse and gets forced to bring Chizuru along with him. Not wanting to break the heart of his grandmother, who becomes overjoyed at Kazuya finally finding a serious girlfriend, Kazuya and Chizuru get forced into a fake relationship. To be fair, compared to the usual rom-coms, the premise of this anime does have a different execution, and I think that Rent-A-Girlfriend's rightfully one of the most trending shows this season, even beating out the sequels to popular shows at this time. The main character does get his fair share of criticism, but the hijinks and the comedy keep me coming back on this one. Probably check the first few episodes of this and see if it's to your liking.
大好きだよ、太郎。
A Whisker Away's been through a lot. Thanks to the situation of the world at large, what was supposed to be a film ready for theatrical release ended up becoming a Netflix offer sometime right before the summer season. A Whisker Away ends up being something you'd expect from a Disney movie, but with anime characters. You know, the whimsical romantic story involving magic and transformation that we've come to know. While the story might seem quite plain at first, I think that it ended up quite nice and heartwarming. The art's just amazing and exceptional as expected from a full-length anime film. A Whisker Away is no Shinkai movie, but I think that it's a dramatic and heartwarming adventure that's a good way to spend 2 hours of your time. It's a really fun story that you can settle down and enjoy with the family.
ヒュスク、小切手を。
入金完了いたしました。バランス、アンリミテッド。
Much to the joy of fangirls worldwide, Millionaire Detective has made its glorious return, and likely for good. The comedy show that follows the duo of the hilariously rich Daisuke and everyman detective Haru has hit the ground running once again. The main draw of the series for me, though, is the chemistry between the main duo. The two are polar opposites, and their chemistry helps make the show very fun to watch. Now, I know a lot of people who find Daisuke's swag and riches hilarious meme material, and I dare say that his antics help push the charming story just to the next level. The humor's great, the action's nice, and the characters are just so over the top that the show just becomes so entertaining. If you've not given the show a try from the previous season, now's the time to join the ride. In second place, we have God of High School. Admittedly, I underestimated the fan base for God of High School before the season came in. I knew it was going to be popular, and for good reason too, but I didn't expect it to blow up like this as early as the first episode. Does it deserve the hype? Hell yeah. God of High School has, by all measures, a simple plot and premise. Cocky high schooler thinks he's hot stuff, gets his ass kicked and starts his journey to win the King of the Iron Fist tournament. I mean, the God of High School. Yes, that's the name of the tournament. Along the way, expect to see some of the coolest and most breathtaking fight scenes this season has to offer. The show made me a believer so early with its amazing fight choreography and animation, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. In spite of all these things, as a webtoon reader myself, I was a bit disappointed with the pacing and the content that was cut, but after the Tower of God adaptation, I guess this is something we should have expected. One of the reasons why I listed this show in second place is because if you don't mind the simple plot and are here mainly for the action, this show would probably be my top pick of the season for you. With so many candidates, I think there's only one show that I'm going to vote for in the top spot, and it's Decadence.
よし、行け。
Entering the season, I wasn't completely sure on what to make of Decadence. It seemed to have this dystopian steampunk flair going on for it, and I think that a couple of people penciled it in as basically another Attack on Titan when the first episode hit. But boy, did the show prove everyone wrong. I think that what Decadence does well is to subvert the expectations. When you have a world where monsters have wiped out most of the people, you immediately get those Attack on Titan vibes, but the anime has done a good job of throwing the twists early. The show, which is made by Studio Nut, also looks very stylish, very Trigger-like, and has a lot of action-packed scenes that you've come to know this studio for. From the second episode onwards, you can see that the show's no longer the generic monster versus humans post-apocalyptic show everyone made it out to be. Don't sleep on Decadence, I'm telling you. I think it's underrated for the amount of creativity and passion that you can see in this thing. See? Challenge mode of not talking about the numerous sequels turned up pretty high, didn't it? Don't you think so? Among the shows listed here, what are your favorites? Make sure to tell me in the comment section below and I'll gladly have a chat with you about them. Looks like the season turned out a lot better than we expected in March now, don't you think? Now, I wonder which of these shows will rise further and become anime of the season for the community. Only time will tell, I guess. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that sweet like and subscribe button, and I'll be waiting for you on the next video. See ya!